Hello and welcome to Two Therapists and a Microphone. I am Dr. Harrison Davis.
And I'm Dr. Aisha Dickerson.
Two Therapists and a Microphone is a show about mental health, relationships, and social issues that personally affect you. We broadcast live every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. on the Our Black Media Network.
We are two licensed psychotherapists with decades of clinical experience, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear about the situations or dilemmas that you're going through. Send us your questions by visiting our webpage, www.twotherapists.com, and click on Ask Two Therapists at the top of the page. We've been getting a lot of emails lately, and we are loving them. Keep sending them, and we will keep answering your questions and giving you our expert advice.
Absolutely. So I just got one a few days ago from a woman here, looks like in Atlanta. And we're going to talk about, give her some advice, some suggestions. And I think we're going to talk about this topic tonight. So if Dr. Aisha, if you can read the email to us.
I sure will. We have a 35-year-old female who lives outside Atlanta. She says, "Hi, docs. I love your podcast. Thank you. And I can use some relationship advice. I'm turning 36 years old next month, and I am still single. I am a college educated professional Black woman, and I'm doing well for myself. My career is taking off, and I have a consulting business. I look fabulous, and I take great care of myself.
All right.
Here's here's the problem. Atlanta is a tough place to date as a single woman. I mean, I've met some people who lie through their teeth and men who don't deserve my time. They are like emotionally unavailable con artists. For years, for years, I have tried everything to meet a high quality Black man. Well, I met one. He's a little older, but he's kind and mad sexy. He owns his own business, lives in a nice home, and drives a luxury car.
Okay.
He's nothing like the sorry man from my past. He's divorced and his kids are grown. He pays their college expenses. I checked him out and everything is legit. Sounds good, right? Yeah,
Okay.
so far. Well, after a couple of months of steady dating, I can't stop wondering if he is deceiving me in some ways.
Mm.
I'm always checking to see if the things he's telling me are true. He tells me to relax and not to be suspicious of him, but I can't help it. I think I dated so many men who lied to me that I do not know how to be happy and at peace in this relationship. He's given me no reason not to trust him, and he told me that my constant questions and mood are affecting our relationship. Honestly, I do not know what to do. I don't want to push him away, and I could tell that he's beginning to pull away. How do I trust again?
Wow, that was a lot in that.
Well, I want to start by saying I'm so glad that you feel good about yourself because you weren't afraid to tell us your accomplishments and that you still look good. And not everybody can say that in their mid 30s.
Yeah, and
But
she
I mean,
sounds like a confident woman too.
right, right. And that's important because, lack of confidence isn't sexy to most people, except the people who want to use you. Lack of confidence is sexy to them, but not to most, as you say, high quality men.
Hmm.
So go ahead, Harrison.
So, as you were reading, and I read it earlier, I was just thinking, this is a topic I've heard about before. Um, the dating scene in
Hmm.
Atlanta, I've
Hmm.
certainly heard about it from some of my clients, and it's tough. And there's some well-known bloggers and podcasters out there who talk about high quality Black men. So I was actually happy to hear that she met somebody, but it sounds like she may be sabotaging her relationship, or is not comfortable uh, with another man showing her the respect that she deserves, and maybe holding on to things from the past, as opposed to focusing on the present. As I heard the listener talk about checking up behind him, and I was just thinking about that. I'm not so against that, but did you tell him?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on how much you are checking up behind people. There's a big difference in doing a Google search, finding them on Facebook, doing a little light internet stalking, and calling probate court to find out if they're actually divorced. Which, I mean, that's free, but also who calls probate court?
I
to
was about
get
to say that's a
information.
lot.
But it's, I mean, it's free. I know a lot of people who do it. If you're wondering whether or not your man is still married,
Yeah,
or if
yeah.
he's ever actually been or if he was married before and didn't tell you about it, you can find out this stuff at probate court. It is
Uh,
public knowledge.
See, my clients, what I've heard over the years is that they go searching through their social media,
Hmm.
and that can tell you a lot. And if they kept things on their social media for a long time, you can find out a lot
Hmm.
about people.
You sure can.
But the question I had, and that's okay, I'm not even judging all of that, because you got to know who you're dealing with for
I
sure.
agree.
But the question, what I wonder about, are you telling him that, are you like informing him that, yeah, I checked you out and everything seems cool, because it sounds like you're questioning a lot of things. Are you searching for a lie? Are you trying to find him, catch him in a lie? Has that become part of your past relationships? Is the question that I'm thinking. There's nothing wrong with checking up on somebody, but how far are you going? And what are you doing with the information? What do you think about that, Aisha?
And so that's my question, because from what I read, I gathered that he knows she's checking on him.
Sounds
And
like
at
it.
first it was like, okay, you're checking on me. But after you've checked and you found nothing and you keep checking, it's almost like if you keep looking, you will find something, because I'm going to give you something to find. And to me, that's what might happen when she's pushing him away. She'll find that text message. I mean, it's, well, let me also say that the only thing I heard her, or heard myself say, not her say, but heard myself say in reading her message, that where it seems like she may have given it some pause, was that she said he's a little bit older. And so I wonder if, because
Hmm.
of his age, she is thinking about his life experiences and thinking that with this many years of life experience, he can't be this perfect.
Gotcha. Or, another theory to think about, as I mentioned earlier, I'm truly wondering if you believe you deserve a guy like this, someone who isn't giving you a whole lot of problems, and perhaps, he's not like the jerks, that you dated in the past. You may have concluded, that all the available men out there are jerks and liars, and here you have one, but you're not settled with it. You become uneasy, when someone isn't revealing some of those unhealthy qualities that are out there. I would love to ask you, do you believe you deserve a guy like this? Because if you don't believe that you deserve it, then you're going to find every reason to tarnish it. You're going to find excuses for why he isn't worth your time, like you mentioned within the email. So that is certainly a question I want you to ask yourself. Do you deserve this high quality man that you talked about and that you searched for so long in Atlanta? But now you got him. Sounds like you got him. What are
Mhm.
you going to do with it? That's the question.
Well, another thing I think you should keep in mind is whatever you're looking for, that definitely could have been him back in the day, depending on his age. Now, what I have seen in my personal and professional life is that a lot of men aren't really willing to settle down until they're a lot older.
I
So if
agree with
you're
that.
looking to find out, if he was a man whore, if he thought he was a player, if he cheated on his wife, depending on his age, he may have done that about 20 years ago. So if you find something, you then have to decide if you want to like and love who he is today, or
Yep.
do you want to hold against him what he did years ago before he knew you and before he matured into the high quality man he is today. You mentioned that he drives a luxury car. Let's say hypothetically he's 50 years old. 15 years ago, he might not have been driving a luxury car, or he's driving a 15-year-old luxury car today. I mean, it's just that things were different when he was your age, more than likely.
Yeah. So the question I have also for you, are you holding on to the past? Are you allowing your emotions to ruin this current blessing? I think I can call it that.
Well, yeah, we'll
Uh,
call it a blessing. And my grandmother used to say, "You're gonna miss your blessings."
Yeah, that's
Now,
right. Because you caught it. It's funny. I hear about us always praying for things and putting it out there in the universe. And then when you get it, don't mess it up. So if you were my client, I would help you to explore some of those past relationships that you had and the impact that they had on you. Because I don't know how long you were dating, who you were dating, how they used you, or what you allowed to happen, but all of that was in the past, and here you have a blessing. So I would first question you about your emotions and how much you're allowing them to rule you today, to take you to a place that's gonna make you ruin this particular relationship.
Because right now, what's happening is you're kind of acting like, for lack of better terms, damaged goods. Who hurt you? That's what men will say. Or even when
They
you,
will.
right,
No, no,
even
no. Here's
when
here's
you
the question:
uh,
what man hurt you? That's the
right,
question.
right. Because you said that you feel him pulling away. I would say absolutely. You feel like you might be pushing him away. Absolutely, you are. No one wants to be questioned or have to be punished because of the wrongdoings of some man from your past. Some man from 5 years ago who was at the time 30, who was maybe at that, who was then 20 years younger, maybe, than the guy that you're dating now. That can be extremely frustrating. And then you'll have these situations where maybe you have a reason to be upset. And then it's always going to be, oh, that's not me. That's just you, putting some other person's stuff off on me, because that seems to be a pattern for you right now.
Yeah,
You're going to push him away into some other woman's arms.
and then blame him.
And say, almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, that he turned out to be exactly who you said and thought he was,
Yep,
because you searched him right into that position.
yep, yep,
So
yep.
your question was, let me find it here.
How do I trust again? So what I would love to talk to you about, um give yourself permission to forgive some of those men who lied to you, who you dated, who turned out to be jerks. I think I'll use that term.
Hmm.
At some point, you may believe you've passed it, but this letter is all about what happened to you with the men from your past. So we got to talk about how you're going to actually forgive, because you're holding on to something. It's like a little rotten tomato, a little piece of a rotten tomato, and you got to cut that little rotten piece out. With you, it's all in you. So I would actually talk to you about, how do you forgive, and what does that process look like? Not everybody has to forgive people. Dr. Aisha and I, we talked about that a few weeks ago.
Hmm.
But if you're holding on to it, and some of this resentment, because I can sense it, within the letter, we're gonna have to find a way for you to forgive some of those individuals. Do you have any ideas about how she can do that, Dr. Aisha?
So,
I have some ideas too.
well, let me tell you, and this might not be the way anybody should go from a therapeutic standpoint, but I tend to forgive people when I see all the bad things that are happening in their lives. So it's easy to forgive. Easy to forgive someone who's failing repeatedly. Because,
Well,
ex-
that's one way, because if you could see that, perhaps I got you. If you dodged a bullet,
right.
and by allowing them to reveal themselves to you, and then you made some decisions not to stay with that, and then you see how they turn out in the long run, you can be happy,
Hmm.
that you dodged that bullet.
But
But what I go ahead.
no, well, the other way I can think to get to a point where of a forgiveness is to be successful yourself.
Absolutely.
I always am happy when I am successful in other areas of my life. It sounds like you're successful in every area of your life except your relationship. And
Yeah.
so that should be a reason for you to be more intentional about having a decent relationship, about not pushing someone away, about being vulnerable in this relationship so that you can be successful. How invested are you in being successful in this relationship? Because it can possibly lead to you forgiving all those men who hurt you.
Yep, yep. And I don't know how many they are, but what I would do, it's something, an exercise you can think about. picking out two or three who are the most memorable guys who you dated, who were the most significant in your dating life. I would actually ask you to write a letter to them, and in that letter, detail what you got out of the dating situation, what it meant to you, how you felt about it. You can reveal your own opinions about how he treated you, but at the same time, put in that letter how it has left you today, and be honest about it, about how you're still resentful about the pain that he caused. And you don't have to do anything with the letter. You don't have to send it off or anything. But I invite you to explore some of those feelings that you have with some of those men from your past. And then I would invite you to come into my office, and you would read the letters to me, and we would talk about what you learned from those dating situations, lessons that you learned, what you realized about yourself, what you realized about other men. But we got to do something with it. Right
Mhm.
now it just sounds like you are still stuck, in this place of being mad and angry about all these years, I'm assuming, of you dating these jerks. But I want you to engage in an exercise where you can try to uh, practice some form of forgiveness, with these guys. And maybe by talking about it and exploring those relationships, we can discover something new about those relationships. Perhaps they triggered, something in you, and that's preventing you from moving forward. I would love to ask you about your relationship with your dad in particular,
Mm.
and what that is like,
Are you trying to
because
say she has daddy issues?
it is very likely
Okay.
because she is holding on to things from the past, and it's a lot, about how it's still there impacting her current relationship, when she admitted in the letter that he's not giving her a reason to doubt anything, and she checked him out, and everything is legit. And I'm assuming, like you said, he may be a guy in his 50s or even late 40s. Hell, he could be 40 years old, I don't know. But she checked him out, and everything was accurate, and it sounds like he's at that age where he doesn't want to play games, particularly if he's divorced and he has some grown kids,
Mhm.
and he may just want to chill out and his life is on cruise control. And here you come looking, digging for issues, all because of what somebody else did to you. Like Dr. Aisha asked earlier, that's going to open you up to somebody asking you over and over again, who hurt you? Well, I invite you to discover who hurt you, and what was the impact of that. And writing those letters can help you gain a different perspective about it. You don't have to mail them off or anything, but we're going to have to get some of those feelings out. And I would even theorize some of that resentment. I'm stepping out on the limb here.
Okay, okay.
Some of
Step on
that
out there.
resentment may be because she could have fallen in love, with one of those guys, and she hasn't really recovered from
Mm.
a relationship. That's what I'm guessing, as I'm just getting a little bit deeper into what I read within the letter. And if that is so, we're going to have to do something to help you to recover from some of those relationships. But I would ask you to write letters to those guys who messed you over and left you a mess. Because right now you can't navigate a healthy relationship. But I'm imagining those guys have moved on. They're doing their own thing. They've met
Mhm.
other women. They're doing. They may be married themselves with kids and happy, and you're out there still mad about what they did to you. And you have a wonderful golden opportunity with a guy who you talked about, who sounds like he's the man of your dreams, but yet you're the one bringing some bad energy into it. But anyway, I'm ranting now. What do you think, Aisha?
Well, so I do wonder if he's actually the man of her dreams,
Mm,
or if she's settling for all
mm.
of these great personality characteristics, but it's not really what she wants. Almost what I'm reading is that she, 35, they're almost 36, you could possibly still have some kids, and
You
maybe
sure
he's
can.
he's older. You don't want to have kids with him. I see on here Chandra wrote, "Is self-love and feeling worthy. It's self-love and feeling worthy that is causing her to act this way. She needs to heal her past."
All
So,
right.
speaking of her past, Harrison, you brought up perhaps her having issues with her father. But I would, if you were in my office, have you do a whole genogram maybe
Mm,
and explore what other patterns are in your family when it comes to women and relationships with men.
very good.
Is there a cycle that you're trying to stop, or are you the only one who hasn't been married at age 35? Maybe you were focused on your career before and you have other people behind you telling you, you need to do this, you need to get a man, you need to go ahead and settle down. I hate that word, go ahead and settle down, because the first word in it is settle. So you might have someone who's nice and he has a good job and he has a car and he has a house, but also, like he's nasty, and or you're just not really that attracted to him physically. So a lot of women get
Uh,
in relationships where they're with him because he's stable and it seems like a good idea, but they don't really want to sleep with him. They don't want him to touch him, or they're
yeah.
leading him on and try and hoping that eventually they are attracted to him.
Yeah, that leads me into my other thought. Good segue to evaluate your needs and whether or not, since you are so unsettled, with this guy, you listed some good qualities, like Dr. Aisha just mentioned, but you may not be settled with him because he may not be exactly what you want. It could be something about his personality, like you mentioned, Aisha, or perhaps it's a look, or perhaps he's not your type, but you were just so happy to meet a black man who has a nice car and a nice job that you were going to try to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps
You
there's
do.
something in your spirit that's not allowing you to move forward and looking for ways to get out of this relationship. That's a very good point, Aisha, that you
Yeah.
made.
It's like self-sabotage.
Yeah,
You don't really want the relationship to succeed. Now, let's say we're wrong, because
yeah,
you're not my client, so I haven't built rapport with you. I don't know all of your information, but
yeah,
you're asking how do you move forward, in which case another piece of advice that I would give you is learn to do what we call thought stopping. Sometimes the thoughts are going to come into your head. I can't make you not wonder what he's doing. There's a book that I've told some of my clients to read called Crash the Chatterbox. It's by Pastor Stephen Furtick, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. And what it talks about is how how these thoughts are coming into your mind, and you've got to learn to shut them down. Not only that, but it's not something you're going to learn how to do and then it's over. It's something that you have to do for the rest of your life.
yeah,
So today you might be doubting that he's faithful. Tomorrow you might be doubting that you're going to get a promotion at work. The year after that, you might be doubting that your friends really want to be your friends. Maybe they're just pretending to be your friend because you're successful. Or you might start thinking that people are jealous of you. Whatever it is, if it's a negative thought, you have to be aware of those so that you can acknowledge them and move forward. It's not about erasing the thought, it's about saying, okay, yeah, I had that thought. Let me stop now and focus on something else. Or more than that, what am I thinking? And then what does the evidence say? My mind says he's a cheater. The evidence says the last person he cheated on was his wife, and now the kids are grown. My
yeah.
mind says he's like these men in Atlanta. The evidence says he's only been living in Atlanta for 3 years. The man ain't even from here. He's nothing like the people in Atlanta. In fact, he doesn't even live in Atlanta. He lives in McDonough, like 40 minutes away. The evidence says that he's not an what do you call him? ATLian, Atlantean. Dr. Harrison is from Atlanta for real. This man might not even
ATLians.
be
That's right.
might not even be from Atlanta. So you're holding against him what what a label that he cannot accept. Is just not him.
Absolutely. So that's a wonderful advice that Dr. Aisha gave you. I talked about some things that I would do with you, if you were my client sitting on my couch or on my Zoom screen
Hmm.
these days. But I hope you really listen to all the information, but you're going to have to heal from things from your past. And
Yeah,
there are various ways you can do it. You can try all of the techniques that we just talked about, but most importantly, I would suggest that you find a good counselor to talk to. You can do it from home now, and
that's right.
get some of these feelings out, explore some of that resentment, and talk about where do you want to be today? Is this really truly the man for you? And how can you be at peace the way I believe you want to within this particular relationship? Because it sounds like it can give you some of the material stuff, that you want. And There's another piece to relationships, and that's emotional comfort.
Hmm.
And it doesn't sound like you have that.
Yeah.
So I hope you listen to all of it. Anything final you want to say, Dr. H?
Yeah, just to touch on that, I've seen now that her exact question was, "How do I trust again?" And
Yep.
people would probably tell you that a guy would have to earn your trust, but in this case, it sounds like he has. And what's happened is other people have snatched your trust away. So again, don't put that on him, but also figure out. I'm wondering what you might be doing that's not as trustworthy. That's got you um, checking after him. So,
Projection.
so again, check it to yourself. If you want peace, and just like we said, people have to earn your trust. If you want peace, then you need to be his peace.
All right.
You're not being peaceful.
Absolutely. And be your own peace too. If this is really truly what you want, it is not complicated, just to be happy and at peace. I would ask you, are you happy with other areas of your life as well too? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's show. You took the advice. I hope everyone listening enjoyed the advice. You can check us out every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. We're going to broadcast live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube with that. So
That's
check us
right.
out. Absolutely. Send us more emails. We need some more too, so we can talk about them on our wellness topics. You can go to our webpage, twotherapist.com, and check out Ask Two Therapists and send us an email.
You can
You don't have to give your name.
No, you don't. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the number 2TM show. Same for Instagram and Twitter, or just search us on Facebook, Two Therapists and a Microphone.
All right, guys, we will see you next week.
Like this.